Hey YouTube, Satoshi Matrix here yet again bringing you another video. This time I wanted to talk about a new controller adapter that I think you guys would like to see. So, the Sega Dreamcast. The Dreamcast was a great system. It had a lot of great shooters, a lot of great fighting games. It was Sega's last hurrah, and it's still worth owning. However, I'm not a big fan of the controller. The Dreamcast controller is huge. It's just like the original Xbox controller. The D-pad is mushy. The analog stick is, your thumb falls off of it really easily, especially when you start to sweat. It only has 4 face buttons, and the controller port comes out of the bottom of it, and it's a strange controller, and I don't really like it too much. Fortunately, there are better solutions. You don't have to put up with the Dreamcast controller. So today I'm going to talk about this adapter. This adapter is from a company called Innovation, and it allows you to use a PS2 controller, a Sega Saturn controller, or a PS/2 regular keyboard. So I have my Dreamcast on already, so I have one of my favorite games booted up. I'm gonna turn it on, turn on the analog. The game I have here, in case you can't tell, it's Cannon Spike. So let's start. Load my game. Start Cannon Spike. Again, just using PS2 controller. Let's choose Mega Man. Press X to confirm. Probably not going to be able to play this too well one-handed, but I'll give it a shot. So you can move around with the analog stick or the D-pad. Fire with X. Again, pretty hard to play one-handed, but you get the idea. So, let's turn it off. The VMU goes right there, in case you were wondering. And let's try something else. So pull that out. I'm gonna put in, here's Super Street Fighter 2 for matching service. Put that in, and I could use the PS2 controller, but I'm not. I'm going to exchange it for another one. Take your Sega Saturn controller. Gonna put it down, camera down. Plug that in. And there it is, the Sega Saturn controller. Turn on the Dreamcast. Excuse me. I don't know if you guys have played this version of Street Fighter 2, but it's probably one of the better ones. So here's our Sega Saturn controller working on a Dreamcast. Now loaded. Yes. Only released in Japan, obviously. This version had online play years and years before the Xbox 360 version that was released, I believe it was Street Fighter 2 HD Turbo Remix. So this is Super Street Fighter 2 for matching service. Just going to go to training mode just for the sake of brevity. Choose Ken. Versus Cammy. Let's do it. Ken's stage.
Round one, fight!
So you have weak punch, medium punch, and fierce punch. Weak kick, medium kick, and fierce kick. Really good D-pad. The Saturn controller works great for playing Street Fighter 2. Again, impossible to play one-handed, but you get the idea. Alright, pull that out, and there's just one more thing I want to show you guys. Take my spindle of Dreamcast games, find the Typing of the Dead. Put in the Typing of the Dead, close the Dreamcast, pull out the Saturn controller adapter, clear my desk a little bit, and bust out a giant keyboard. Keyboard end this is just a standard Microsoft keyboard. You know, with the typical old school PS2 keyboard. Take the adapter. As you can see, it also works with steering wheels. You don't have to use only a keyboard, but I don't have any PS2 PS2 steering wheel, so I won't be able to show you that. But rest assured, it would work. So plug it in, just like that. And this way, you don't have to have an expensive or exclusive Dreamcast keyboard. Turn it on. The lights just flashed on the PS2 keyboard. Again, I'm not too adept at typing one-handed either, but I'll give it a shot. Keyboard's already plugged in. Just need to press the enter key, which I just did. Presented by Sega. Smile bit. ADX. Yeah. Let's get to the game. Press enter key. Now again, I'm just moving with the arrow keys. So let's just go to original mode. Do my best to get this working. This is probably the best typing game ever made, by far. Hooray for wonderful voice acting.
We're meeting G over there.
Again, you get the idea. It's hard to do it one-handed, of course. Normally you'd be have with both your hands, but I need to hold the camera.
How could anyone do this?
But yeah, you get the idea. Type with the keyboard, goes into the game. So I'm just going to turn that off. So, about the adapter itself. This thing I picked up from a guy in Florida who was selling one. I got this on Rocket Boy. Yeah, these things don't have any sort of marking, so I don't know what to call them. All I know is that it just says Innovation, which was the company that made it. Other than that, it's nice. It works really well. There's no input lag. The games that run on it best include fighting games and shooters. PS2 games that use or Dreamcast games that use the analog stick to great effect benefit greatly from using a standard PS2 controller. Yeah, if you have a Dreamcast, I highly recommend getting one of these. They're somewhat rare these days, so expect to pay about $40. That's what I paid. It's nice because the Dreamcast VMU does stick into it, and so therefore you can save your games. And yeah, like I said, there's no input lag, and everything just works. One thing I will say is the Knight's the Knight's Saturn 3D controller doesn't work with this controller for whatever reason. The Knight's controller, I don't know, it just gets crosstalk and it won't work correctly. So you will have to use, if you're interested in using a Sega Saturn controller, you'll have to use a standard Sega Saturn controller. As for if Sega Saturn third-party joysticks and arcade sticks, that sort of thing, work on it, probably, but I don't know. I don't have one to test. So anyway, thanks for watching, YouTube. Later.